that is okay. No surprises there. Icebox is going to be the map picked by Team Liquid as to go as the first ground. I'm actually surprised because I was watching a split. We were watching split with between Ascent and FPX just now, and I was messaging Tom and Mitch being like, "Hey guys, do you remember this split that we had with Mech and Fnatic?" So I was expecting that. Precisely because of that, and because we haven't seen Mech playing on this split just yet, they would go for that pick, but they decided to go for the Icebox, where they're most likely going to be playing that Fade. I'm not sure. Okay, there's definitely something cooked up on the side of Liquid.
Not only that, but Mech, 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, in a pre-show, I was talking about Mech's Brimstone on Icebox. This might be also...
Oh, yeah, true. And Liquid also play with double controller, don't they?
Yeah, with the Omen as well. Yeah. So Yampi is like the guy that smokes off mid typically if he's playing on that Omen, and because of that, they don't have the need to sacrifice the orb from the Viper, which is super important for the fuel. Woo!
I cannot believe that Yampi actually has decided now to go on the chamber.
That's like half a year late, but it's fine, you know?
We said they were one step ahead, so probably, yeah, they will keep that lineup with that change on the chamber. No double smokes for them. Chronicle on the other side is going to be playing with that Brimstone. So now we have to switch up a little bit of what we said about the head-to-head and just focus on Defo against Jumpy, because I feel like the performance that Defo had on chamber was stellar the first time that we saw him playing this agent on this map. So I am expecting a lot. Now, what can we expect from Jumpy finally going onto that chamber?
Well, he's an operator player, right? So he for sure should find huge success with the ultimate, but also he will should be very aggressive with the defensive positions that he will be taking. But what I wanted to put attention to, and it's even more important, I would say, is the defense from Mech on this map. Chronicle can single-handedly lock down A side for a minute with his smokes. There's not going to be a lot of variety there. There's just going to be a smoke, 20 seconds pass, smoke, 20-second pass, smoke.
So the thing is Team Liquid going to read onto that because they decided to go for this map for a reason and also put Yampi on that chamber for a reason?
Well, it's time to find out map one of this big series, which could dictate the pace of the entire weekend. Let's get into it with Mitch and Tom.
Or Tom and Mitch.
Well, Tom, this is what we're here for. No, Lothar. Mitch and Tom, all right? No, I don't care. So this is going to be the big game. The one that everybody's excited for. Yes. His brain, I heard. Something about it. I can't remember. We'll talk about that later. Mech and Team Liquid, Tom. That's what's important right here, right now.
Let's bring it into the game.
And here we go. Time to dive on in. Icebox about to kick off, and Team Liquid will be mounting the attack to start this one off, Tom. What are your expectations moving on to Icebox between these two rosters? I mean, Mech have been a little bit up and down as of late.
Yeah, I did really enjoy seeing their Icebox last time, though. I think the defensive side, especially for Chronicle, was something that made it exciting. I guess on the other side, you did have Yumpy doing a very similar thing, but the interesting point is that he's moved away from it. So maybe trying to just be a little bit more aggressive around the edge of those smokes and gonna almost try and press Chronicle to see if he crumbles, because last week, even though it wasn't like the worst performance we've ever seen or anything, the fact that we had 3 of the Mech players being deadly quiet, like Defo having an alright game and then Nats just being Nats, if they think they can put the pressure onto Chronicle, fair enough.
Well, let's see how this is going to go down. Already Defo's taking the aggressive route right down onto Yampi. And, well, his chamber has not started out well here on Icebox. The 5 versus 4 off the bat, and Team Liquid pumped the brakes. They're going to look for control on B main, but of course, Mech have just backed off from that. After getting that kill, they're looking more to converge around mid and stop any splits from happening. I could even potentially play the retake, hoping to grab one as the players look to move in. But here's where all the utility I was expecting to come into play, but no, the Team Liquid are still looking to move back, and that's what they were waiting for.
Expecting a little bit of aggression, and because of that, that 5v4 has quickly diminished for Mech, and of course, it does look like they still have plenty to be able to set up. Like, Chronicle hasn't used any of his smoke, so I wonder if it's just being almost utilized, ready for a retake. They also have the screen down on this A side of the map as well, so almost expecting this push to come in this direction. Scream looking to try and take first contact, and with nothing being spotted on the other side of the map, it does seem, yeah, it's just going to be that retake because no one really taking any point of contact.
Yeah, look, Chronicle even backs off from the angle. So this plant looks like it's going to be undenied. And they've walled it a little too close, haven't they? So a little alternative plant location coming in. They're a little strapped for time, but I don't think it's going to matter. It seems like they've gotten away with it. And the kills are not actually going too poorly for them. They're able to keep it into even numbers at the start, but it's left to Navera, and he will be overwhelmed the round going to Meg.
Yeah, of course. We saw this map obviously being brought in a little bit more for Liquid. It was one that for an incredibly long time, it was something they didn't really play. A lot of their success, I feel like, was just how regimented everything was. And the fact that, no offense to DreamHack, but the first time he goes to put down a wall, it completely screws their round. It's not the greatest of starts. Like, we've spoken about this man and the agents that he's comfortable on. I think that a lot of those did revolve around Sentinels, so I don't think that's something that will happen again, but that's not the start you're looking for if you're Liquid.
Well, I sure hope it's not something that happens again. Yeah, the entire round centered around creeping in, getting that wall down and planting, and well, the wall directly contributed to the second part not happening for another 10 seconds. That's a shaky start, but hey, can always come back from it. Mech, though, with the pistol, not likely to see any sort of a resurgence from Liquid here. I will say I'm excited to see Yumpy in these kind of rounds where he's just going out with the headhunter and doing exactly that. Well, maybe not. Not sure if he got caught by that, but I think he did. Oh no, he's good.
This is basically just a sheriff round. Just relying on everybody to try and find kills. And well, there is Yumpy already kicking things off. There has been a trade. Nats has to be careful. It seems like this is something that they are very aware of on the Liquid side. Like, this was something that Nats had problems with in the past, is when people sort of knew what he was going to be doing, the value of what he was doing is diminished. And again, that's 2 rounds in a row now. He's tried to get cheeky around that position, has been caught for it.
Yeah, Liquid have done a little bit of homework there, but sending Yumpy out to find 3 heads. I mean, said it wasn't the greatest of starts to his chamber play. This is why we've been begging to see his chamber play for so damn long. They're on an eco, and he's walked out with 4 kills. They've got a plant from it. Great wall from DreamHack. Significant improvement.
Yeah, this one actually allows them to plant, so it's definitely better than the last one. Can Shadows get anything done here? Bear in mind, Navir is incredibly low. No real utility to play with. He is on the wraparound. Is this going to be expected? Actually, DreamHack is doing a great job of just wasting time. Just basically burning that clock all the way down. Still, though, he's going to get isolated. And Shadows has absolutely no idea where this last player is coming from. Navira on the wraparound. Timing going to be everything. He's not going to expect it. And Liquid will break straight back. A Yumpy hero round and a clutch out for Navira. It's 1-1.
The truly ridiculous thing, and we heard from the desk about it, how Team Liquid are a team that have those individuals that can pop off, but when you look closely at the rounds there, they leave you wanting a little bit when it comes to strategy, right? You see the lack of the dedicated IGL there of but look, at the same time, it's like it is to an extent a winning formula, not a championship winning one yet, but it does get them to the championships, or you know, kind of to the, I guess technically got them to the championship last time. So it's interesting like that you know, we see around round 2 after Lothar makes the point of, but sometimes their individual brilliance breaks them out of a game. Yep, basically aced it with 4 bullets.
Well, this time the wall works. So yeah, just a blip on the radar, it happens. Still though, Nats has managed to find 1 hit. He'll be able to just retreat, but again, and another coming up for Red Guy. It seems like both teams are off to a bit of a shaky start, but they have managed to fall into a fairly powerful afterplant right between the 2 smokes. You got Soulcast sitting. It should be expected, if anything, but no. He's going to be able to get one even while burning. Then the snakebite falls as well. The remaining players spamming, but it's not enough. They're on that defusal. Red Guard gets it to half, and now Navira, the last one remaining. He's managed to delay at least a little bit, but they know where he is. The shot does strong, but he's going to drop another. Make it into this 1 versus 2. They've already got it halfway. All they need to do is stick it, and he can't quite get it over the line. There will be enough time for them to get that defusal, and back-to-back thrifty rounds. Mech in the lead again.
They only just got that across the line, though. I mean, if he was able to sneak back around that corner for just one more second, it's over.
2.5 seconds is a long time.
It's a respectable amount of time.
It
You
is,
always
it
tell
is.
me. I don't know why. You seem obsessed with bringing this up. 2-1, Tom. Unlikely fashion that we've made it here, but perhaps a sign of what's to come.
If everybody could calm down, please.
You want to play?
And
Let's play.
sort of restore a little normality. This is map 1, and we're in round 4, and I already feel like I've seen enough. I think it's the way I'll put it.
I've seen enough. Nobody
Close the edge
qualifies.
here, and we are round 4.
Yeah, this has been a fun one. I'm enjoying it.
He's
All the
already got
rifles.
tour de force.
But look who's sneaking around. Chronicle gotten so much done from this position in the past. Hasn't been spotted just yet. Swings out, but Scream there to deal with them. That might just be the B site for them. The Viper's Pit's going down. There's a nade that's looking to come up close and secure this on the back of contact. Well, they should have a plan now.
Yumpy also dropping Redgar. Gonna need some sort of miracle. They've been able to deny a little bit of space. Nat's also fighting within it, but Soul has to fall, and the trade is almost instantaneous. Can't quite dodge Shados' flash, but do a lot of damage to him on the other side. With the ball down, it will be an afterplant, a tough one to try and break back into.
Yeah, going through that Viper's Pit, and the one angle that you don't go through a Viper's Pit, tour de force is sitting on. There's the problem with that. Shanos barely surviving, and well, yeah, that's why it's barely. He gets taken down in the end. 2-2 we go. Team Liquid right back into it. And they do well to catch Chronicle. I think, you know, he's been shut down so far in these couple of rounds, but it's been strange. We haven't really gotten into the normal Valorant yet, the normal Icebox, and you know what, Tom?
No one's won 2
Fine
rounds
with
in a row
me.
yet. No one
Yeah.
is. Well, we're still just going back and forth. I hope this doesn't continue for too long, especially with the buy that's coming up here. You got a hero rifle for Shados. Now you do have Nats with a Viper's Pit, but he's bought a Sheriff, so I'm gonna make the assumption that he's not planning on using it, because otherwise I'd say an intriguing choice of weapon. Obviously for Defo, 1 kill here. Tour de force round could easily flip on its head, and they actually have 3 players currently within this A site. It's going to be a much faster paced round by the looks of things for Liquid.
Oh, but they're blitzing right into mech, not knowing the full rotation has now completed. This team is ready for the play, and Defo's the first. Nevera's down. No wall to play with, no utility on the way through, no orb to the post plant, no snake bite. They won't get the plant. Dreamass is caught. This is huge. Scream just about grabbing the spike and getting out. He needed to do that while the utility was still up and there to play with, but the round is not saved yet. They need space, and I think Yumpy just got spotted.
Oh, it's
Brutal.
executions. Bear in mind as well, Defo, because of that first kill, does have tour de force, so it's not like it's just 1 gun anymore. In fact, now they've managed to retrieve a second. These rounds make absolutely no sense, and
30
Scream
seconds left.
and Soulcast have, well, 25 seconds. They've got to try and find a gap somewhere in this defense, and as they're also sort of feeling out the map, so are Mech. They are realizing the spots are clear, but again, Chronicle caught with his pants down. He has not had a great start.
Find you.
The plant's going to be secured at least. There's some, oh no, maybe it's not. Oh, there's Fury. Not quite going to catch them, but it tags up eventually. Sulk is down to 42. Scream, Showstopper, not going to be used. I mean, it can't be used now, but even still, 2 versus 4. He needs to go huge. He needs to find kills right here and now. There's 2 already. This is Scream we're talking about. He's done a lot, but has he done enough? No. Nats makes sure of that. Rez to guarantee the weapon. Defuse to guarantee the round. And the lead is now in Mech's hands.
Defo just realizing he doesn't have a gun.
Thrifty.
Well, it is going to be 3-2. I hate it here. And it's another round on the board for Mech. And that's the thing, just a huge gamble stack. Shados already, I think, has had more impact today than he did in the entirety of the series versus Big, so take that as you will. For anybody who didn't know, like, we were looking into the stats of the game. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this, but Shados is, in my mind, probably one of the best multi-fraggers in the entire game. Like, 2Ks, 3Ks, 4Ks more. He got 1 2K and no 3Ks, 4Ks, or aces in the last series versus Big. If you can find me another series where that's happened, I'll be gobsmacked, because he is renowned for those sort of kills. So an uncharacteristic performance when facing off in that last game. As said, I think he's already done more today.
Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on with that. He was missing and has obviously done some soul searching, Tom. He's found himself. He's back up on the server.
EMP. Please, I can't. Oh, he did him.
The tag was there.
Fortunately, he doesn't have an operator. It's still, again, a half investment. Defo, though,
No charges.
it's so good on the defensive side with this chamber. In and out. Those opening picks found, and there's not really much that can be done in those sort of cases. Chronicle's just like, can he see me somehow? Because he just followed me through a couple of positions. Now, the res is available if they somehow manage to get into a solid spot. It looks like they almost want to try and wall up and get aggressive over the top. Instead, they're actually going to use the showstopper.
Well, interesting. It might find one as well. It's fired into Chronicle. Down he goes.
No.
That nade, is it going to actually deny? Will it catch a kill on the way out? No, Dreamus is good, and he's finding kills. That's more than he needed to do, and he's playing just with a Sheriff. Fantastic work. Team Liquid now. Rifle on Scream. Sulcus with a Guardian. And there is the ultimate. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Shados. Maybe. Maybe not.
Oh no! This might be the first time we finally see a team get 2 rounds back-to-back, but Soulcast still standing. Defo needing to get on that spike relatively soon. In fact, it's just going to be the swing, and Soulcast is going to clutch it out, keep the mania going. As things are equalized once again. Bear in mind, Liquid already qualified, fighting for second spot. Mech, if they lose this game, life on the line. Like, Big could still qualify. Na'Vi could still qualify based on the games that happen over the next day or so. Nonetheless, well, as I said, we're 6 rounds in. No one's got 2 rounds in a row. I think someone needs a damn power up, at least at some point.
It has to happen eventually. All right, we've got a Viper's Pit down on B. Team Liquid looking to play this one nice and slow. They've obviously spotted the pit at this point. Gonna try to root Viper out of it. Try to catch her up close. You know, the right lane is clear. No one's pushed up. What are they looking to do towards this side? You know, I still see Sulcus lurking around here. And, well, yeah, eventually they're backing off. I was curious because we've seen the attempts at running through a Viper utility before. Definitely hadn't worked out so far. So it would be a strange approach. Instead, they're doing what I think will be expected of them, moving towards the A site. And that's the play that Mech are ready for. You got to watch Defo here. He's about to get the kill from the top rope, or at least the fight from it. He could be in trouble. They come down below, but that's what Shados is here for.
He still gets traded out, though, and with the res, it's not that much of a detriment. Soulcast is back online. They've got some extra space for it. Wall going to be utilized and actually leaves Scream ahead of it. I was about to say, he's going to get back out of there and just play for the afterplants. And in these positions so far, Team Liquid have looked pretty strong. The last round was maybe the only exception, and, well, they still won it.
There.
Out of charges.
I mean,
Standing ahead.
you want to go in, try to find some picks. At this point, Team Liquid, though, they're tucked way away. They've got Viper post plant set up. They've got, I mean, all the info, all the map control to work with, but that doesn't deter Meg. They dive on in, they lose a few weapons, then they bail. That's a lot of damage. Screams out. So the thing is here, right? Redgar had a Sheriff, so he's picked up the op. Really, they've lost 1 rifle from it. They decided to stay right off the bat. They had a chance to do some damage, so it was worth the risk. And they've gotten damage. That was with the Sheriff. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's broken. That's all I need to know is the fact that it's no longer just going to be back and forth for the entirety of the game. The Liquid are the ones to finally manage to win a couple of rounds in a row, but we're now going to see a mech timeout. Now, obviously, a lot of what I would say they're going to rely on is these defensive halves. Like, you have these one-way smokes, you have a lot of utility to almost delay, and thus far it hasn't really been particularly impressive. You're also running a composition where your only duelist is going to be a chamber. And now, obviously, again, there's going to be people, I don't care. But he is going to have to be the aggressor in ultimately a spot that doesn't actually work that well for the agent. Like, a lot of the stuff he wants to be doing is holding angles, TPing away. If Liquid don't give him the face, that's going to be incredibly difficult, and you're going to be much more reliant on other players, I think particularly Shados, to try and take that space instead. So I think Mech have realized that, okay, 3 rounds is not a good spot for us. We want to be getting like 7 as a minimum, I would say. And for Liquid, they're already in a pretty good position here.
Yep. I don't think Liquid can be upset at this point. And where the economy is at, that's the key thing as well. They've got their 2nd round in a row, and that now leaves them in a position where they can buy up next round. It's not so bad. You know, Mech aren't in that same spot. They're putting it all on the line here. And look at what they're coming in with. They got an operator on Defo. He's going to try to grab some kills to get his tour de force afterwards, right? 1600, 1350. These guys can buy up shakily in the next round, but they want that tour de force to be online to bridge the gap so that everybody can have a rifle to play with. It's going to be tough, though. No better man for it than Defo, but Team Liquid, they're not peaking just yet. Got to see if anybody makes the mistake.
Yeah, more so makes the mistake without any utility, because that's the thing. That there should be something here to try and force him off of that angle. Even if it's just Scream trying to take a little bit of space with a blast pack, like anything that can almost just make this a little bit more difficult. And well, there he goes. And they've used the Prowler alongside it to just get that extra little bit of ground. They have forced him off without anything really having to be used, and they're going to get that space.
Really cerebral play, just a little bit of utility, a very small cost to pay to avoid running into that operator, and all the while Yumpy taking advantage of that big absence of information towards this side of the map, sneaking his way through, and he's caught 2. Those are pistols still taken down. The operator, Phantom's still online to work with. He might even be able to force them into a position now where they decide to save. I mean, if Redgar goes down and they've already got the plant and time's ticked away, but 12 seconds left, they've got to get this plant. They've lost Dreamass. Is it actually a Phantom up close? 6 seconds. Someone's got to get that spike, and they can't be taken off it. Defo might just get around the corner, but he's a little late. A 1v1 comes out of it. A remarkable recovery even still, but still a chance for Mech. Scream's going to try to sneak down below, but Defo above with an operator. He needs to be quick and clean if he's to have even the slightest of chances of taking Scream down, and he won't get it done this time. Scream securing Team Liquid's round. God damn, that was a bumpy ride, though.
Scream's looking good today. A lot of high impact kills. Like, you might be looking at the scoreboard, and obviously Yumpy's still popping off, don't get me wrong, but Scream's just had a lot of kills that were really important to a lot of these rounds, like be it catching the aggressor or just shutting out the individual that was dangerous. Again, it still wasn't a full investment, so the amount of damage that's able to be done there by Mech is not bad, but there was a real opportunity, and I mean like half a second's worth for them to actually win themselves that round.
Wow. Back and forth we went. Team Liquid get the round they should have. I've never seen that skin ADS, actually. Only just realizing it now. It's a nice little scope. But the opening, it's our boy Yumpy. Grabbing one, taking Chronicle down, removing the smokes the one way that has annoyed so many teams on this A site in the past. Now not to be dealt with for this round. A huge pick. They're going to look to follow up on it almost immediately. I thought this KO ult might slow them down, but Tom, Team Liquid, they've only got the W key.
Yeah, it does mean that they can't actually utilize the wall they've been putting down every single time, and Nats will capitalize off of that. Spike down. If he gets this timing right, he might find another couple. He's been a bit quiet so far, but that never seems to last for long. Yumpy honed in on his position. expecting a swing to try and confirm the ace. He knows that even just making this costly could be nice, but Nats is having none of it.
This is what we wanted to see. You know, we spoke about at the start how sometimes that two-dimensional play.
Did they get the ult?
Or did they?
I don't think they did. No.
No
Like
money
he
for it.
dropped it before he went in with the headhunter, just to make sure that if anybody went for that retrieval, they'd have to run a lot deeper. So knowing as well that he has the tour de force in this next round, he can buy the weaponry for the rest of his teammates. And yeah, he's stopped Defo having the weapon that makes him ever more deadly.
A worthwhile trade, you should think. And actually, it's going to be a little bit of a different setup here. Nats alongside Chronicle, a little bit more passive after they see that wall come down from Team Liquid. They're back towards the B site. They're looking to aggressively hold that mid control and the control over Kitchen. And play the retake on B. I don't know if that's coming off the back of the orbital strike, but I have a feeling that they have an idea on what to do if Team Liquid do try to plant up here.
Well, yeah, especially with it being basically the identical execution every single time, with just the wall being such a almost crutch that teams fall back on. If he can just deny that timing of it, it's going to make things so incredibly difficult for them to actually get into an afterplant, which they've been going for the majority of times.
Just to make them that little bit more uncomfortable. Now, this recon is huge. It's going to catch all the info. Even if it just gets shot, that's practically enough. As the wall goes up, the recon goes in. It's timed while everybody's distracted, spraying. Here comes an orbital strike. That was expected, though. Team Liquid were only trying to bait it out.
He hadn't used the wall yet, though.
Yep.
That's the thing. I feel like it was, yeah, more important for Mech to actually wait and be a little bit more patient here. Instead, you're now going to have that afterpart. The molly, though. That's superb. Extra counter utility being thrown in. Still something they haven't been able to break just yet, but the time, Midge, it's ticking down.
It's starting to get dangerous. They're going for the plant now. The spams are attempting to come on through, but players dropping like flies. Team Liquid taking that into more of an offensive stance. That's defense is a good offense in this situation, and well, they have well and truly succeeded with a 4v2 in their hands. This round is looking certain to be theirs. Inside the Viper's pit, Dreamus goes down. Not too much of a loss, though. They've still got their Viper online. Damage to Navera, but he doesn't go down. Defo has to hope he can catch him, but he's got help from up above. And so the round falls into Liquid's hands yet again. They've been doing well here on the attack side, building up these rounds. And I like the fact that they have a lot of these adaptations on the fly to just go super aggressive. It's the thing that this team has up their sleeve. They get into a sticky spot like that, and we've only got 10 seconds left to plant. All right, 3 of us will push up. Oh, 3 of us got kills. Let's fall back. Post plant. It's nuts.
I do like the way they seem very, very aware, though, of like the ultimates that are available for Mech, because I do feel like they were a little bit trigger happy there. They had everything set up to actually deny and just used it a little bit early. Now we're going to have Nats already popping the Viper's pit. I think he's expecting a fast reaction, though. Like, you can already see he's just waiting on the angle and instantly takes down screen. Just going to go straight back into the Viper's pit and now wait for the rotation of his team.
Oh, but Nats is coming back out. He's caught.
Down, B.
Push up through mid a little too strong, and sure, the spike goes down. Retrieving that might be a little bit of a pain. Just time-wise. Oh! More than that! Navera, where are you going, man?
I did not expect 2 players to already be that fast in the rotation. Like, the fact that they were both sat in Snowman is a little bit unlucky, but even still, they're now going to have to try and back away. A very real chance, though, of actually repositioning in towards this A site. Defo, I don't know if he's actually going to hear this. This could be a problem. He's definitely spotted the cross, but the thing is, the other player's still waiting behind, so there's going to be that afterplant available, and Solcas's position could be enough to actually change around. In fact, they're going to opt to try and play this together.
I like the idea. They've got this perfect position. Potential fake. The TP, but now extending into more of a lurk. Solcas doing so well, and there's the side angle from Yuppie. Oh, Shados! pulling out the nade at the wrong moment. That is 7-4, and Team Liquid's aggression again pays off for them. This is a team that you can just imagine how scary it is to be in these 2v3, 2v4 situations, because you think it's locked down, you think you're in control, but they're behind you. They're not looking to defend the spike. They're pushing the other side of the map to where they put the spike down. It's wild.
Yeah, I think their mid rounds as well have actually been pretty creative. Like, it's clear to see that their after plants are very strong. But even when things have gone a little bit wrong, I don't think it's been, like, almost panic. Like, I think they've always had a secondary plan, and even having some really nice ideas once they managed to take that extra space. Defo, again, aggressive, but it's expected by Yumpy. He's been doing so well on these openers. It's something that a lot of people on this chamber struggle with, but for Yumpy, it almost just seems like second nature. An easy first kill, no success for Defo, and well, now all they need to do is convert the 5v4.
It's not always that easy, especially up against the defense if Mech make the right gamble, but they're hearing a ton of shots in mid. I'm not even sure if that's going to be confidence inspiring though. The players being that close to mid around the smoke, you can easily rotate into the A site. You can have a lot to deal with. A little bit of noise being made here. Rotations are coming instantly off Chronicle here in the sound cues. They're going to have the right gamble, the right stack. But Tom, I mean, there's nothing. There's no utility, really. They've got the molly to delay.
I love it.
That's about it. Good night.
He's just having a terrible time. Nats, the master of the Bulldog, but he's only going to be good for one. Well, Hunter not quite hitting the mark. Even got the res available to try and bring back one, although all it's really going to do is add another death to Scream's tally. Doesn't matter, though, with the advantages they currently have. And I think, actually, yeah, Shados is stuck by the seas above him. Just kept in that corner at least for another second or two. And well, even if he does manage to get out of there, I think he's in a real tough spot.
Locked in at 8 rounds in the half. I mean, this is a big success for Team Liquid. I don't think they can exactly be crying home about it. Remember that they started out by losing the pistol to kick things off. And then they end up bouncing right back into it and having a very dominant close. For Mech, I'm a little bit worried. If they don't pick up this pistol to start with, they fall behind quite a bit. It'll be one hell of an uphill battle.
I think as well, it looks like at least the choice of this map for Liquid looks very well prepared. Like, even in that round, you can see that Scream actually nades the one-way position that Chronicle wants to be sitting in. So it's like that's the real power of those one-ways, is you have a spot where you can sit, where you can see them as they run into it. Well, Scream just nades that spot. Then you don't have a choice anymore. You're stuck in a spot where you have to now run away and your smoke is now worthless again. It's just intelligent counters to what has been the same game plan ultimately for Mech.
Well, here we go, wall up. Plenty of Team Liquid right behind it. They'll be happy if they start to hear a stampede, knowing they're on the right side. But Mech, again, pump the brakes. They want to put a bit of pressure on the Team Liquid. By putting that wall up and not pushing on the back of it, they're starting to feel like maybe this could be a fake. It's backed up by the drone coming through mid. Making the right rotation, though. Right into heavy traffic of Mech. Plenty of players there, but again, narrowly missing each other and going back. Mech starting to make noise on A. That's dragging the rotation. At this point, Defo wants to work solo. He's got a TP here to work back on.
Oh, he's got 6 headhunter bullets. Didn't even get to shoot any of them. An instant kill from Scream. You don't challenge the master of the one-taps to a battle of one-taps. It's never really going to go your way. 30 seconds. Again, just this slow pace of Mech. They've got so much still to do to get into that site. And you can see how prepared Liquid are. 4 players ready and waiting.
Yeah, they're caught behind the wall. The Viper's still being up, buys them a little bit of space, but they're worried about that utility, and for the right reason. There was plenty of it coming their way, but 10 seconds left. Someone's got to bite the bullet and go for this plant. It's going to be up top. Players already swinging. They've spotted the planter. They've taken him down. It's done. They've won the time. It's already gone. All Navarra has to do is hold on in the back of the site. He'll go down, but time had already expired, and Team Liquid take it 9-4. The pistol round is theirs by a hair's width. My God.
I was about to say I didn't expect it to be that close, but even still, the round over the line, 9-4, and yeah, I think they're kind of in the bin here. And I like the fact that Liquid even have going into the last 13, 12 seconds of the round, they had that Seize nade combo just ready if anybody went for the plant. As said, it looks like they're incredibly well prepared for this matchup at least. And again, we've just got some of those performers missing, like Chronicle 5 and 12. Like, you've gone for this pocket pick, you've gone for a sort of a play that nobody else really did before, something that had a lot of cool ideas in the first run. It seems like Liquid are ready for it, and now there hasn't been any more depth to that agent, and even just him individually has not been, well, that world beater. I still stand by the fact there was a point where this guy was the best player in the world. Now, not quite there at the moment.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I think that has been the narrative for quite some time in my eyes. It does feel like it's only a matter of time before we see that step up, but now it's not quite there. Yampi on the chamber, been very fun to watch so far. I hope we get to see plenty more. It looks like they'll be pushing to double digits up against this, well, presumably Eco. I wonder, you know, for Mech, after that first half, they have to be a little bit disappointed, but you have to be realistic and think, look, it is the attack side. We can make the comeback happen, but it all boils down to either the next round or, like I said, Nats is invested into shields before we went into this tech pause. So at Defo. Defo already has his 6 bullets kept over. There is a chance that these guys decide to put it all in here and try to make the comeback happen.
Yeah, it would be bold. I'd obviously, for anybody wondering, the reason there's a tech pause is because Shados has a few FPS issues, so we're just gonna hopefully wait that one out. I don't know, maybe a game restart or something. Hopefully, it won't be
maybe
something
I need to play with FPS issues from now on. God damn. This guy's 17-10, 7 assists up against Liquid. Hell yeah. 3 FPS gang. Let's go.
You know, he just has to be more patient and just hit that one shot. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Like, the rest of us are spamming at like the multiple attempts we have. He's like, well, I only get 1 because I've only got 3 FPS, so I gotta make sure that 1 counts.
Famously, that 1 taps are easier on 3 FPS. It's the way to go.
Yeah, everybody knows that. That's a fact.
Only high frame rate players can spray.
Yeah. And go near smokes.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like they are resolved. 9-4. As you sort of mentioned, they could have gone for something a little bit riskier here, but it seems like they're still just going to try and get something done with a few pistols they have. Chronicle upgrading. Obviously, still all of those headhunter bullets that were there for Defo in the last round are still there in this one, so he can hope to try and get some damage done.
Well, they were looking at the plant, waiting out some sort of a nade combo, but nothing came through yet again. It's going to try to find them on the way back through, but
They even have a slow on it as well. That's really nice. It means they can't even go anywhere. It's a little bit late, and obviously getting the timing on it's going to be really difficult. Rekka, well, he's been caught from behind. Already problematic. As said, we didn't expect much from this round whatsoever, Mitch. At least something has to come through.
There you go. Already found the 1. I say already. The round is over. Double digits for Team Liquid. Now we'll be looking to get this tour de force online. Interesting ult commitment. 6 rounds in the lead, defensive side, tidying up that round nicely, facing off against Mech. Finally the full buy though. This is where the big change can happen. 3 of these players having to use light shields, so they might be powering up their weapons, Tom, but their shields could definitely use a recharge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to go for here. It looks like a very aggressive A setup with just a reliance on Navira. Now, luckily for them, you can definitely rely on Navira. Like, here's someone who has had so many clutch plays, fantastic individual moments, but just look how aggressive they're getting. And in fact, the second they get caught out, they're going to start rotating straight away. Because if you see that many players off the back of a 0 point, you start hightailing it straight in towards B.
Deploying drone.
Well, Liquid had been sublime over on that attack side. Their defense might not be going so well against this buy round. They've stacked up the wrong side of the map. I mean, look, it couldn't work every time, could it? This is Team Liquid on the attack. They're not going to go A every round. But it's mech, so I suppose they were probably right.
Oh, they're going to
just in
save the
case.
spawn for the first minute and a half.
Yeah, well, this time a little bit more pacey. They get the plant down.
They did spot all the players on A. Like, if they just sat there,
Tom,
that would
say
be
what you will.
wild.
It was a bit more pacey. That's all I said.
Oh, again. Well, they know everybody's here. Actually going to use the orbital strike just to delay a little bit. Defo's gone down to the nade again. How much damage can they realistically do here? Now sat into an advantageous spot. Shot dart out. A vulnerable player on the other side. Shados now going to go down. This is starting to get a little bit scary. Spray doesn't work out. Nats is going to find himself a triple, though, but it's already been defused. They've just stuck it all the way. They used an orbital strike, had a free afterplant in a 5v5, and Liquid win the retake.
I don't know what can be said about that. Liquid should obviously never have gotten remotely close to what they just did in a round where Nat steps up like that as well. And a fantastic wall. All right, I guess we start there. Absolutely fantastic from Dreamus. In contrast to how he started out this map with his wall skills, I think he's gotten a little bit better.
It's the wall redemption arc. That's what we're looking at.
He needed to, hold on, warm up his ice walls. You know, warm it up, and now he's looking like
Oh, do you mean his barrier
Team Liquid?
orbs?
Because he was team solid
great.
before, but he wasn't that solid
Great.
on his performance with the wall.
Either way,
It was good.
we are going to have Nats just walking straight through his own poison orb. I think he's had enough, Mitch. I think he's just gone, you know what? If you guys aren't going to do anything, I'll just take things into my own hand. He's also Viper's Pit, but I'm not sure how vital this is going to be. It doesn't matter, though. It's almost like baiting in these peaks, and up until Scream, they were winning every single one of them.
Well, they've got their mid cross in with the Viper's Pit. Plant to be secured, to be attempted. Scream still sitting around heaven, trying to be an annoyance for these guys. Yumpy.
Oh,
There's the
no.
barrel spotted. A huge mistake by Shados. 2v3. And having Scream and Yumpy in a 2v3, this round is not over yet. The Viper's Pit now proving to be a little bit of a menace. These players, though, especially with where it's planted, they can make their way around heaven and not worry about it too much.
And they've still got the rest to deal with. Nat's timing is going to be everything here. I don't know if he was actually spotted by Yumpy. Made his way through the edge. They're going to tap it, and he has now been seen. Back into a 2v2 scenario. Chronicle still has his Molotov, but swinging in to put it down's going to be tough. Never mind. There's the man we know and love. 2 headshots off the back of his Guardian. They're gonna, yeah, okay, the spike didn't quite go off. Otherwise, he would have been in trouble.
I don't feel like any of these rounds go as I expect. I think for a sec there, Chronicle was like gonna molly and then realized it's gonna up the ramp and it's into the left a little bit. Like, yeah, there wasn't really a safe angle for it. But also, it just wasn't needed when you've got those 2 players. And they want to take the swing like that. I guess they just got it done otherwise. Would have been safer, but 11-5 we go. How many more can they find? Look, this attack side is going to be extremely tough. They cannot make mistakes, and a team like Team Liquid will look to punish them every turn of the way. No ultimates to use, though, this time.
Oh, much faster pace round. A lot that could, in theory, be utilized, but the null command has denied basically everything. At least for now. In the retake, they could still try and use Showstopper, maybe a Viper's Pit to really cause some problems, but with the weaponry that's behind it, I don't know if they'll want to invest. I think a lot of it is going to come down to whether or not Yumpy gets a pick first.
Bring them down.
Well, they've gotten quite a bit of control off of that play down from heaven. The Prowler cleared out a lot. The mid play takes Navera, though, and now they've got to be worried about their back. At this point, it's very difficult to get any sort of groundwork. Spamming away the tour de force, trying to catch a player or two. You can certainly see the idea behind it. The bullets are going to disappear, so who cares? And Yumpy. Needed some legwork on that one. Of course, he was playing with his pistol, so it's not the end of the world. Scream's got a weapon.
Scream
Yeah, he was running down.
I was
mid.
about to say, I was like, he doesn't want to survive there, but 11-6. Still a very, very long road to go for the side of Mech, but they are making this one a little bit more competitive. We're starting to see those stars come online once again. Shados and Nat still up the top of the board. The only man above them is, of course, Yumpy, who, again, you can sort of see why every analyst from Twitter to professional has been wanting to see him on this agent. Nonetheless, it's actually going to be Mech calling the timeout. So even after 2 in a row, maybe starting to question how they can counter some of these ults. Because although the Tour de Force was used, Mitch, I think that Showstopper and Viper's Pit are still available.
It could certainly have their impact. I think that Viper's Pit in particular is something you want to deal with right off the bat. If you're Mech, you don't want to have them with just guaranteed map control. Have that light side to play on. And they've got the added benefit, of course, of running that Sova, so you can drone them out. A little bit more effective, I think, than the Prowlers typically. So once you get that tag, it's over. You know, as a Viper, it's your worst nightmare when you hear the sound of the drone. You're running for the hills. For Mech, they're going to spread out. Wall towards B early. I wonder, I want to see really what Navarro's plan is here. I think typically he'll jump spot it, right? But all right, he goes straight in with the Viper's Pit. I don't blame him, though. Get that control right away.
Go get him.
Nice shock dart utilized, but it hasn't managed to destroy the trap early, so something's still going to be available for the defensive side. In fact, it's going to be an instant pop off that Showstopper. It doesn't quite manage to take out Shados, though. I'm a little bit surprised of how nonchalant that was used, but I guess Scream just feeling he could almost force them back out of that position, and now they actually just go to reclaim more control over A, almost tunneling them in towards this A site where they have the majority of their players.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the Showstopper. It's for the round that's in it with the economy under threat from Liquid and Mech being so far behind. I think throwing through a Hail Mary like that isn't so bad every now and then, but it hasn't landed them success, and now they could have been in a lot of trouble.
That was close. If they couldn't get around the corner, it would have been a problem. Nice entry, though, from Chronicle. Trouble as well for Dreamers. He's now the only man standing on the site, and the entries are superb. Mech may have been slow to start, but this man could be pain in the backside. A chance for a multi-frag, but they run around the corner just at the last moment. A single kill, and well, unfortunately for Navira, he's walked into the trap that I imagine they were hoping would catch Yumpy in the first place.
Unlucky, the late flank, the super delayed, it gets detected and gets caught. Mech gonna just tuck in, wait for him to come on marching through, but of course the save is called. Navera needs the money. I think a bunch of his teammates are very low on cash as well. Not going to be the prettiest in the next round, but they can afford to have a little bump in the road like that, obviously with the lead that they have. Just don't want to see this blitz play out of Mech have so much success, right? Chronicle rushing in through those guys, able to just brute force the site out of their hands, essentially. And with 7-11 on the board, that's going to be a big concern for Team Liquid. If they're able to be overpowered like that, it gets you worried. Where are they going this round? 3 rifles on Team Liquid, Sulcus and Yumpy still to buy, but those are going to be weaknesses.
Yeah, I guess Yumpy's probably just going to play whatever he's got already in the Headhunter. I would almost prefer him to just buy up the extra couple of bullets, but I assume it's just to make sure that he can have an operator in the next round, because I do feel like they need to start getting a little bit more aggressive. Dreamass agrees. Almost managing to get that opening pick, but nothing really found. And again, it does just seem like we're going straight in towards this site once again. Chronicle, I like the fact that he's just got the ability to almost speed his way out of there, especially with the fact that they have the trail, they have the info, and so far those combos haven't had as much success as I'm sure they would have liked.
A minute left on the clock. Liquid clear close A, but that Prowler didn't get nearly far enough to get them valuable information, and the recon just destroys any notion of this site being clear. They'll stick around with a bit of a stack on this side. The next couple seconds are defining. This is where Liquid decide to stick on A or go to the B site fully, and there it is, the full rotation. They've thought, okay, no, this was a fake. They're going B. Now they realize there's a knife on A. We've left the site. The wall is up. They've got the plant, and now you got to fight your way back in.
Mitch, you're not meant to read the script during the game. Come on, you got to make it at least look a little bit less obvious to the viewers. Nats already holding onto the lurk and catching off Yumpy as he attempts to rotate through, and he's just going to hold this. Nice shot from Navira, though. Prowler going to give the info of Defo's spot. It's still going to be easier said than done. The wall not really being broken. Orbital strike. He's only going to get it to half. The thing is, though, Navira's still fragging. He's already managed to get himself another. They need to get this Molotov down. Navira, he's got 4 already, and there's only 1 man standing. They're just going to stick it again for the second time, diffused under the noses of Mech. And a 12th now on the board for Liquid. It wasn't the round that was looking likely, especially after the rotation away. But they make it work. Now, a lot of it comes down to Navira.
I'll tell you, looking at these plays, I'm just feeling like Mech and Team Liquid are in a similar boat right now. I don't know what's happening, but they're in stormy seas. I don't want to say it's a problem with the captaining, with the like IGLing or anything like that, but the ship ain't going where it's supposed to go, and it's not sailing the right way. We see this team be one of the most calculated and intelligent teams out there, and this season they've been shaky, and we've many reasons as to why that could be behind the scenes. We know all about that. It's just seeing this game, this map here, definitely you can feel it. The Team Liquid, they're thriving on the chaos that's ensuing, and Mech, I mean, they're not. They're not as used to dealing with chaos as Team Liquid are, with 2 quick kills. This is looking like map point could be a map in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, once again, there needs to be someone stepping up on the side of Mech. Well, maybe Redguard's that man. Managing to at least catch out 1. Yumpy trying to get a bit cheeky around the edge.
Planted.
Isn't going to be able to go much further than that. Otherwise, his escape plan quickly disappears. Almost hoping for a mistake. You can still see a late flank potentially coming in from screen, but I think they're actually just searching for Nats. Instead, the Redguard left wide open. A mistake, perhaps, but this now gives the Viper's Pit a real chance in this Arcaplan. It doesn't really help out Defo too much, I'll be honest. It's not going to work with the Tour de Force, but luckily he has a rifle in his back pocket. Yumpy trying to sneak his way through, trying to find one of these remaining players, and they have. It's left to this man once again, Nat, to try and clutch it out. The Boombot almost gets him. They can't quite defuse, and now the Viper on the other side is going to be the one clutching things out. Scream has to flee. Nats will do it again, and an 8th will now be on the board for Mech, but dear Lord, was it close.
He's just such a sneaky player. It's impossible. Rooting this guy out of the site. Look at how long he is just standing around, owning this position. Sure, the Viper's Pit definitely helps, but the amount of times he can do this on the map alone without these ultimates or massive utility bumps is incredible. 12.
Well, he earned it halfway through the play. So
Yeah. Feeling it on the fly, man, is absolutely beautiful to watch. 4 rounds between these 2 teams now, Tom. 4 rounds between Mech and an OT on a map that they started out not too well. Not too well at all. This has been an impressive resurgence back into it, but Team Liquid still have more than enough runway to get this one closed. That's why they call the timeout here. See exactly what the road ahead holds for them.
That's the thing. We saw this in the games versus Big as well. Like, it wasn't like Mech just got insta smashed. It was that they had really slow starts, really poor starts, and then they tried to grind back into the game. The problem is they never succeeded. And that's what we're looking at right now. Is there going to be someone that takes us over the line for Liquid? I would be surprised if not. And that's the thing. In the past, I'd be 100% on the Mech train, but they just haven't done anything this season to convince me that they have that same resilience they once did. If they're smashing a team, if it's like a 13-3, okay, it's just that momentum taking them over the line. But any blip on the radar now versus Liquid, and then this map is done, and they have to go in and try and sweep back the series. For this round, ults are close, and I'm looking at Yumpy. Because that Tour de Force comes online, this round can easily slip away.
Be hyper careful of see what do you even do, like, oh, don't let him take you down without being traded. Well, He can kind of make that pretty difficult. They're already baiting in as well. They have no idea. Like, come on, man. 2 kills? Not going to get the tour de force online, be able to use it, but he certainly set his team up to close this one out nicely. 3 versus 2.
Yeah, there is a Hunter's Fury. Now, there's nobody actually coming on the flank, so that's at least something that will work in their favor. Nats is mainly going to have to play for time, and he is someone who's an expert. That goes swinging out, though, a little bit risky, and he's pressured by Scream. Now it's left all onto Redgar. The Hunter's Fury is not going to be useful here, and it's done. It didn't look like that would be the round, but a pistol play from Yumpy and Scream closing it out. It will be a victory for Liquid in map number 1, and while Mech now have to get that reverse sweep to confirm their safety in playoffs.
This starts to become very scary. As we said, the chances of another team upsetting the rhythm and putting Mech down are out there. And you don't want to leave it into the hands of other teams to decide whether you make playoffs. Certainly not for Mech, context of obviously the previous season and how that went for them. This is a surprise victory. It's certainly in how strong Team Liquid looked to me, Tom. We're seeing this addition of DreamHack. Obviously, it needs a little bit of time, as we've been saying over the last week or so, that you need that germination period of kind of a month or two, really have your impact and mold the team. And I'm impressed by what I'm seeing from Team Liquid. They look better week on week, at least, with him in the team.
Yeah, of course. Luckily for us, there's plenty to break down in that one, and I can't wait after this break to see Lothar and the rest of the desk break that one down.
We are bringing you all of the drama, unpredictability. We've got it all for you. Everything you could have possibly wanted with day 1 of week 5 of VCT EMEA challenges. My name's Ian Chambers alongside Kakuka and Lothar, and Team Liquid take the... Look at him laughing. Team Liquid.
I was just laughing as Tom was also making a remark. I was like, those guys, you know?
Team Liquid take Icebox. And, you know, Mech in a little bit of trouble here, Kakuka.
Yeah, completely. I mean, if we remove, let's actually start removing the first 6 rounds that we saw, because I am not entirely sure what went on there. A lot of pistol rounds is coming and going, not full buys. To me, the outstanding performances have to be one on the side of Yumpy. It's not only what says there about an impressive almost 2 KDA and that over 350 ACS. It's more about the openings that he was having. Most of the things that we have requested from Team Liquid is, you know, to stick to not changing everything match to match, and also to play the chamber. They have 2 players in Nivera and Yumpy who would be brilliant on the agent. Yeah,
it was kind of ridiculous that this team at some point was not playing chamber at all, you know, because they're like...
I thought that they were ahead of the nerves. They thought that teams were not going to play Jet, so that favored them, and that chamber was going to go away.
Yeah, but it turns out that just the guns are giving you so much power. It's just absolutely insane. The one round where Yumpy just got a 4K, 3 with a headhunter, and then like just pulls out the classic and be like, well, this is a gun too, you know? So, and he gets a 4K, single-handedly just wins them around.
Exactly, and then 2 rounds after, he has his ultimate, so he doesn't even need to play with the guns. The economy buff that now Team Liquid is going to have, and also looking forward to the next maps, I would expect that to go on.
You know what's funny is you mentioned the economy, right? And it's super interesting because the chamber buffs up the economy. Team Liquid won 6 out of 6 rounds when the buys were between 10 to 20K. And if you're like, well, that's not really a full buy, like an entire kit for the entire team. But the reality is, yeah, well, there's Chamber, who almost doesn't spend cash, or he can drop someone. It skews the economy play a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there the 4K from Yumpy. If he continues to pop off in this manner, you got to think that they've got a good chance of closing this out.
I mean, going to Fracture, I do not know if we're going to see the Sky operator again, but we'll discuss that when it comes to Fracture. On this map, also on the side of Mech, I do not know what is going on. Getting 4 rounds on the defense is not near enough for them to close a map. We were talking about how important the defense is for them, and the way that Team Liquid were playing around the map, just looking for the easy plant, just looked at the end too easy for them.
Let's take a look more at Yumpy. We keep saying his name, maybe because I really like to say it. But, you know, we tease this head-to-head coming into it, Lothar.
It's a bit brutal.
It is very brutal. It's hard to look at.
Let's say a bit, so no one notices.
It's more than double in every single one of the stats that we're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah, Yumpy also has 8 first bloods. which is absolutely insane when you think about it. And in general, it just showcases that even though 8 First Bloods were made by Yumpy, there were also some First Bloods made by Mech, but even though when Mech has a First Blood, in a 5v4, they only converted 4 out of 7. Like, they have bigger problems than just losing gunfights, you know?
Yeah, and it's not only that. If we take a look at the head-to-head, also within the server, I think that it ended up 1-5 to Yumpy. And I think that first one was the kill that opened the game. For the rest of it, Yumpy was just on top.
Well, up next, we'll be taking a trip to Fracture, but before we go there, let's go to Lothar's lab. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna one walk right here, and I wanted to say something in the pre-match. I was pointing out to the problems that Mech has on attack, that they are falling back to the old habits of being very passive on attack and not gaining any ground, and that literally happened on the first round of attack on pistol round. Look at the minimap right here. I'm gonna zoom in on this minimap. This is already only 35 seconds left on the clock, and pay attention to what is in the kitchen. There's still a chamber trap there, and there's literally no amount of ground gained because we had already Defo being killed on site. So they just literally walk into a trap because Liquid is playing retake on B side, and so look how everyone is just next to A side. They just go straight up into a trap. It's just really well played by Liquid, and Mech is just not gaining anything because no one does a mistake of overpeeking into them. And the next iteration here is another round when it's a very similar situation. You can see that Liquid did use the Viper Spit essentially to block any passage coming through, towards B side. Something that we didn't see, by the way, in the previous matchup, if you were watching it closely. Don't go for Viper Spit, by the way. So Mitch was actually wondering, why did Scream use the showstopper on mid, right? When it was like, no, they didn't see anyone. And the reason for that was because that Viper Spit could have funneled opponents into the mid, so that showstopper could have been actually a multi-kill because the team could have gone through that smoke on mid. And if that doesn't happen, then we had seen Liquid just gain the ground with Chamber going through mid because they know that the showstopper cleared the entire area in that point. So again, Mech are going into a trap because there are 3 players just waiting on site. But this time, fortunately for them, they just win the duels on the side, and because of that, they close out the round. But still, the Liquid's plan was actually working, and they had everything under control.
Yeah, and it's not only that, also something that I think Mech picked up wrong from the previous encounters is that, for example, we were seeing Chronicle playing on B most of the times. You were mentioning before the match started how consistent he was being on A using that one way, and maybe because of the fear that he was going to be counter-stratted and actually not looking for something that, for example, happened against Skill, they tried to swap everything around, and it's actually something that happened also in Ascent versus Big.
All right, so Fracture is up next. Lothar, do you see this going to a 3-map series?
Yeah, I don't see it. Like, honestly, going into this match, I thought that if Mech will not drastically change the way that they represent themselves as a team, there's no way they win against Liquid, and I don't see any kind of improvement so far. So this is probably Team Liquid closing it out 2-0.
Yeah, I actually think I agree, even though I kind of understand the pick. It was a map that both of the teams have won against BBL, but to me, it took a lot out of Mech to actually close that one up. I believe that Chronicle even had a 1v4. I believe also that the last time that we were talking about BBL, we actually put it as in they threw this map. It's not that Mech won, it's that they threw the map and it should have gone for them. So I want to see the changes. I want to see the Mech that we saw on stage 1, the one that we got last year. I do not know who these Wave 5 players are.
Yeah, it really feels like a different team. Well, we're actually setting it up as a very grim picture, but sometimes you have to do that because they really need to like shake it up, you know, or go back into what was working before because they literally changed.
Yeah, exactly. And if we know that the players individually, we've seen them, like, but if it depends, exactly. Yeah. If you require a 4K from Nats to win a round, it is not a good sign.
Yeah, and Nats is consistently consistent.
Okay, Nivera's not playing on that Sky, and actually, oh no.
Yumpy is on Sky, so he might still play on the operator, exactly. But Nivera's on the chamber. So
No Cypher. I actually like the way that Nivera was playing the Cypher, but I kind of understand it. They're trying to swap around. I think that after today, they're going to decide who's going to stay on that chamber. But we were mentioning that these two players are the ones that can play on these agents, and it's going to be massive for them. This also opens up the opportunity, especially in a map like Fracture, where you have 2 entrances to every side, or 3, to bring back that double operator.
yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't see the Cypher alongside the chamber. That's also like a meta move, right? But I understand why Liquid is choosing Sky over even Fade, because they value the flashes.
You were going to say Phoenix.
No, over Fade, because, you know, you can play Fade on this map. She's very, very actually flexible, but they value the flashes being equipped by 2 agents instead, right? On Breach and on Sky.
Yeah, not only that, you want Solkas to be on the Astra. He's been brilliant on it, but if you wanted a Fade, you also wanted Solkas to be on the agent.
All right, the question is now, can Team Liquid ensure that Group B remains wide open and fracture Mech's playoff hopes? Let's find out with Tom and Mitch.
Oh, Mitch and Tom.
Well, look, Tom, if we were to find a group of individuals who were going to throw that spanner in the works, it would be Team Liquid. They would want to do this just to cause a headache for some of these players, I'm sure, just to be the trolls that they are. You think they're going to take it here, though, moving on to map number 2?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did. I think obviously playing, I think it was versus Guild, they had a lot of trouble when it came to this map, but I think Guild come in with a set game plan, set counters, they do their research, and honestly at this point I'm not sure Mech do. Like, that we haven't seen many composition adaptations from them all season. We haven't seen them lean into a lot of the meta picks, which is what Nivera is currently doing as well. So yeah, I honestly think with this level of firepower, Solkas's lurk, and just Yumpy being able to be a bit more cheeky with those aggressive flashes, I think they'll take it over the line.
Well, let's see how things are going to pan out with Mech on the attack side here on Fracture. This is going to have to be a huge map for them. They certainly started to bounce back, though, towards the end of map number 1. But perhaps that wind can carry them through this. Look at the aggression right away. Team Liquid coming down on B. Got a player on the left here, Chronicle, they might not expect, but they've spotted him now. Good headshot, connecting the 1, but then he's done.
Yeah, it's already going to be a quick switch up to move back in towards this A site once again. Dreamass already in waiting to try and stop anybody crossing through, but actually he's been held off by an aftershock, and actually Defo's found another. This now gives them an opportunity in this round.
Spike planted.
There's certainly a chance. You hear that spike in the distance being planted. Mech still have good control over their flank. They have that wire there to watch it late. Of course, for right now. All worried about the door. Good kill. Oh, Defo. Down as the door closes. 6 HP on Scream. No one can take this guy down. Eventually, Nat steps up, but now the spike is in danger. They're closing in. They're already starting to defuse it. It's halfway as Nats comes through the cage. He'll win the first fight, but he won't win the second. Solkas trying to get on it, and he'll have it just below 5 seconds left as 1-0 comes into play. Well, Tom, lovely stuff.
Just below 5 seconds. That's what you're going to say, right?
Beepin was a little quiet, I'll be honest. It's a little louder now, though. Okay.
That's funny. Either way, it is going to be Liquid taking the pistol. A little bit close for comfort in the end with Nats, and still showing that he can be that menace at any given scenario, but Scream just hitting some lovely taps. And again, I'm so impressed with Solkas on this map. It was shut down by Guild, but as I said, I really do think that you have a team like Guild where Coldamenta, Barber are doing their research. They're doing their prep to directly stop certain individuals, to directly counter certain plays. I don't think we've really seen that from Mech all season. I think a lot of it, that they've had like some decent setups in certain rounds, but if that hasn't worked, they don't have that same level of adaptation as some of the other rosters right now.
Obscuring vision.
And Tom, walking into this round, you don't expect much. Pistols in play for Mech. They're already able to gain some heaven control now, swinging on this angle. Good luck to you. Yumpy's going to make quick work of them, but Nat's able to trade one more. Is huge. I mean, this damage out of Mech, it's unreal. And I don't particularly mind playing up in heaven, but the timing wasn't great. Getting there as they're just coming to the top of the rope. You can see how quickly that swing is and how ridiculously accurate you can be on a rope as well. I mean, like up close, you might as well just be 100%.
And that's still looking sharp is definitely a good sign. And this is where the investment will come back through for them. They're going to have to purchase on the other side. And because of the amount of damage that was done, things aren't particularly pretty for Liquid. So we'll see what they can do to try and close the distance, get themselves into a slightly better spot. Of course, Nats has already spotted some of the utility. And the second he breaks it, there is counter utility to try and shut him down. Luckily, he gets far enough away that it won't do any damage.
Solkus, he's managed to get into a nice little angle here, but they're ready for him. Well, Sheriff, not quite the weapon you want in that situation. Plant coming through, and Mech will be able to exit the site safely as well. I mean, at this point, Team Liquid, they don't really have any tricks up their sleeve. This is just going to have to be raw aim duels, and even at that, Mech are going to be so careful. You know, like, even if you don't know that Nevera's playing the Marshal, which I think they do, he could still be on any angle and one-shot headshot you with that pistol, the headhunter in his back pocket. So you're just not going to over-peak angles at this stage. There's no reason, and Mech are showing you that. This is probably the most patient team. Maybe Navi challenged them for it on the planet. When they eventually peak, it's on the back of a stun. And they still lose Shados. Okay, cool.
One player lost. The rest are going to go down to the spike. No ultimate orbs gained either, and I think Chronicle maybe just looking for some pistols or something to bring into the next round. But yeah, very clean from Mech. A good way to get themselves onto the board, and yeah, this is where the response comes through. Instantly, an operator brought up for Nevera. I think this is the difference between the two players, is that Nevera will bring it in a lot more. I think that's the dynamic within this map. Like, you're going to see a lot more aggression out from Yumpy, so having an op, it won't really make the same level of sense. So 2-1, this is where things do get that a little bit more difficult, and ultimately it's going to be a very fast initial attempt. Both raises stunned up straight away, but ultimately Defo's done his job.
Yep. Yeah, space has been taken at this point. Scream up close. The hard angle to fight. One already down, nade through. It's martyrdom. It's not going to catch much damage, though. Very little onto Shados, and all that's going to be his life traded out for it. We're going to try to cross over to site. The smoke no longer down. Gives Dreamus the angle, but Nevera misses. A big miss, and almost the follow-up onto Dreamus. That could have been disastrous, but instead, Team Liquid are still in a pretty uncomfortable spot to get back into the site.
Well, Seeker's thrown in. They have the info at least. Trying to spam out the player from the backline, stun through as well, but ultimately they've got to try and clear the trades from Mech are solid, and now it's left all onto Soulcast. No utility to really play with, and the dual peek out from Mech will grant their second round. Even considering throwing in the res, I wouldn't have necessarily minded it just because of the financial value, but then when you look at what's actually being brought back through from Liquid, and it wasn't really needed.
Well, yeah, there's no need to overcommit to it. You certainly respect the restraint on their part. I looked at Team Liquid. It's a tough one. You know, in a round like this, you can at least still, on a map like Fracture, you can get so much value if you can fight for the orb, or if you can crunch, and I think that's what they want to do. Looked like Northside crunch to start with. Certainly 4 players moving towards that information on South with the flash. To try to skirmish off the back of it. They know at this point that most of these players are likely around here. They've not seen any contact. The flash didn't hit anyone outside of B. And with A main being clear and no noise, your rotator, you know, heard that, door's not open, all that sort of stuff. You've got good info. The only place left is Northside for these players to be crammed in and waiting. So I like the Team Liquid aren't pushing all the way, Tom, but eventually, you know, it all comes down to who makes the move first. Are Mech gonna walk into this choke point, or Liquid gonna need that info a little bit too much and get impatient? Well, it doesn't matter, they're getting the kills anyways. What the hell's going on?
That was such a good flash. Nice shot as well off the back from Nevera, and the second flash is even better.
Oh.
Luckily, Redgar is just able to see.
Oh, what the hell?
And while his hand's still inside the flash by the looks of it, but nonetheless, stun through is going to catch another. They've somehow managed to bring this back into a point of contention. Soulcast trying to chase them down and get stuck. Unfortunately, well, now Nats has been able to take this control almost for free, even having his cam within the edge of it. They do have to be wary, though, because Soulcast could come in on the flank.
Oh, yeah, he snuck his way through nicely. And you know, these guys are probably going to make noise now. If they do, all eyes on drop. You know, that plan has to come through. Number one focus.
Spike planted.
They haven't managed to stop it. Showstopper out. And Scream does get defo. Huge kill. That flank still hasn't been spotted. But Nats is coming around, checking it just now. And Soulcast wins it anyways. Redguard the last alive. 1 versus 3. This shot is perfect. He's trying to get to the site. He can't let them defuse that. They could already be on it now. The wall obscuring any noise, but Soulcast was swinging in to take him down. Gorgeous play out of Team Liquid. A round that they started out with next to no control in, no chance in. They've walked out with a thrifty win.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to just the information game, like taking so much control early on, gambling in towards the dish, and then just basically having the flash set up. Like the initial pop from Dreamass after they take contact with the Headhunter is perfect, and then you just have Yumpy doing Yumpy things. Like I've got my pop flash out, I'm just going to go around the corner and we're going to take these fights. And that was the thing from then onwards. Even when it got into the afterplan, it just looked shaky for Mech. It looked like the pressure of that round, or just the aggression of that round, almost got to them a little bit, because normally you'd see them recover that quite easily, and well, not being aware that anybody could be behind them, that seems like an oversight.
Yeah, it definitely is a mistake that I think they just didn't have the time to account for in the moment. There's so many other things going on. That little oversight, it comes back to bite them. Now we look towards the B site with Mech very much setting up for it. Team Liquid are already here. They've got advanced A main control, a trap for Dish, so they're ready to stack it up, happy to gamble on the B play, but they've still lost Navera on the way through. Scream is close to try and recover this, but there's 2 players to swing. He spotted the first and taking him down. The spin is perfect. He still gets out with 2. 4 players just swung Scream, and he got 2.
They try and deny the plant with the Rolling Thunder, but it's just a split second too late. That now makes Nat's position ever more valuable. He can just hold on to this cross as expected, but he's just winning those battles. Rez gonna look to bring one back. That pull has actually done quite well. Unfortunately, just finding the kills off of it is gonna be easier said than done. Left onto Soulcast once again! What are those headshots out from Soulcast? Instantaneous reactions. Well, this man in clutches today has been nuts, but that takes the biscuit.
Wow. I mean, those are some of the most fun rounds to watch. Just shot after shot. The reset. It could not have been more precise. I mean, this is a man that has his mechanics down to a T. Those players did well jumping out of that grab wall, but that's about all they could manage. Look at that. God.
I feel like you have to have such a level of confidence in your own ability to not spray there.
Ooh, 2 bullets.
Yeah,
like he knows.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like that was like vintage Scream.
Either he hits the first one and then follows up on the second, or he's already dead. So it's, the nade's gone too far.
No.
You've naded Navera. That was nice. Sorry.
Well, it seems like it's going from bad to worse. Soulcast is going to add another to his tally. Nice shot from Redgar. Now, they have to be a little bit careful. And yeah, Scream's basically gone, you know what? You can have my rifle, but you're not getting that operator. I'm not giving you that for free. Ooh. Dreamass needs to go to the Soulcast school. Oh, okay, this is why Scream doesn't AWP. It's definitely not as pretty as what we were expecting it to be. And now they've given an operator over to Redgar, who looks like Nats.
For half a second, when you said the word Nats and we're floating behind a player, I thought I was watching him. Like, that is the Nats POV, right behind someone. Very nice by Team Liquid. I have to say, it's hard to watch them play this map without a smile on your face. Like, just out of the sheer audacity of some of the plays. Like, Scream, right there, he's pre-firing with an op, and then he's like, oh, I'll throw a no-scope in. We'll see how it goes. Like, he's willing to just fight by any means necessary, take that kill. Even when the means are maybe not necessary, he'll still pull them out. It's nice to see that level of confidence in play, and it serves them at times for sure, even if it does feed into overconfidence. It's working. They're at 5-2 right now. The defense is looking strong, and they've called a timeout. I respect the play. They're fixing some issues that are not that glaring, evidently.
No, I think maybe just a slight oversight in some of the rounds when they already have an advantage. Like, even though I think the mech are far from the form that we want to see from them, it's still, anything can just blast them straight back into a game. And that's the thing you always have to be wary. You don't want to risk giving an operator over to Shados, or you don't want to risk like going for these sort of no-scope fights and just getting a little bit ahead of yourself. Because for Liquid, this is a chance to guarantee themselves that second place spot, to also potentially help in eliminating mech, which, as said, whether they're in form or not right now, top tier mech is more terrifying than anyone else who could potentially get through. And especially if you're Liquid, who have already beaten the others.
Well, tour de force right off the bat. Navarro wants to get aggressive, take this fight right to them. The whole team's around this corner, and he has no idea. But I think he might just catch the straggler. Nats only just now coming around the corner. He's taking a position at the boxes. Navarro's close to peeking it. Nats is ready. I'm not even sure who wins that fight.
Last time it was Nats. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah. That's what throws the uncertainty in. We know he's capable. The noise is being heard. He crunches the other side. Here's Navarro now. Peeking out just in time. And Nats, oh no! The timing, it's doubled out. I mean, they know that unless he's behind the box, he can't be here, but they're not expecting him to be. The blast pack.
Beautiful.
In fact, they are. That was gorgeous.
They're expecting him. He's been there multiple times. Now the rest of the team are trying to hit through the other avenue. Nice entry for Defo. He's going to go blast packing actually towards the spawn. The problem is Navira's just farming. They still have another operator that's yet to even be shot just yet. And while Defo's position is well and truly known, nice shot to at least make things a little bit more costly. But getting out of here is not happening.
Wow. It's so nice to see Liquid on this kind of form. The reaction play is there. The early peaks, I mean, seeing Navarro with the tour de force in hand, practicing such restraint. Just holding that angle for so long.
It's also just the fact that they don't then just assume it's clear. Like, oh, I waited here for 30 seconds. I cleared almost every angle except one. It was the call of, hey, I need to go back to the site to hold on for the push. Nats is there. Check it. And that's what I'm enjoying about this Liquid squad right now. I don't feel like there's anywhere near the same sort of level of slip-ups we've seen out from them, he says, going into a pistol round versus Mech.
No, don't do that, Tom. You've really gone and done it now. Yeah, no, look, for Team Liquid, this is a style that suits them, but that equally looks a lot more polished than what we've seen before! Ooh. Jumpy with a beautiful double.
Oh. Play being attempted. He's now made it a triple. Well, there might be a showstopper online, but it's not really done any... Oh, no. Oh, delete the VOD. I don't want to see that ever again. Don't put that in the replay. I know it's part of what might be an ace. No, never mind. No. They allowed him to go for it. Oh, well, thankfully that might not be in any montages then, because it's just a bit whiffy.
Look. That was nice.
Yep.
And we leave it before that.
Yeah, I had my eyes closed.
Yeah, that's the way to go. 7-2 in quite a strong defense so far out of Team Liquid. They're coming in here with 2 operators on Fracture. So I'm going to assume here, Tom, we're seeing some aggression out of these guys, and there's a lot of pings. They're all over A, mainly aggressively on Dish. Let's see how this one plays out. The timeout as well for Mech. I really rate up in the pace and taking it to your opponents after timeouts. I love when teams do that. If you get a timeout, your opponent's thinking, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. This is kind of like how we want to approach our default or whatever it is. Most basic of scenarios, they have a set play they want to go for, and you just run it down, take it into their spawn, take those fights. It throws them off and it ruins the rhythm. You feel like you can't dictate the pace of your own game. The difficulty is, Tom, all that said, doing that against Mech is lunacy. This team is just so slow. They wait for teams to push them and destroy them. But on a map like Fracture, it's kind of what you got to do. So there's a fine balance to be found there.
Here. That goes there.
We'll see if they're going to finally find that balance, or if it is just going to be allowing Liquid almost to take this control. Because that's the thing. Playing this passive, they are just holding on to so much ground in nearly every single round. Look where they are right now. Deep dish, already taken. And no, I'm not talking about the pizza.
Oh.
Oh.
Pizza.
Mitch hungry.
Wow, now. Thanks, man. A lot of pressure coming out of Mech here. A lot of noise inside of A main. Dish is being taken. Team Liquid have that control. North side practically clear at this point. It'll take a few more seconds to figure that out fully. But in the meantime, Mech are on their way. Not towards A, but B. Through the spawn, a showstopper activated one side to the other of spawn. You don't get to see that every day. And they are now on the B side. A complete flip and reverse coming out of Mech, and it has worked. Can you get out of the way?
Can you move?
Let me plant, bro.
Well, it's given some extra time. Now, for Liquid, they have cash. Now, obviously, they're playing a double operator setup, so it's expensive. It's pricey. So they're not going to want to overface too much here. But if I'm DreamAss, I'm looking to try and farm up some ult orbs. Chronicle, low on HP, especially with a swing in here. You might not expect him, but he can react fast enough. And while now Navira far enough away just to try and hold on to the weaponry. And that's the thing, that was a faster paced round for Mech standards, one of the fastest. And the fact that I will say the absolute balls on Yumpy that his response to hearing a showstopper is, I could peek that. I'll kill him before he shoots. And unfortunately, this time he was wrong.
Yeah, I think also like 2 more people peeked him at the same time. Probably on some level assumed that showstopper was aimed at the A side, at cleaning up A main or going up in a dish or doing something like that. But yeah, it was at him, unfortunately. 7-3 we roll. Another round for Mech, very much needed. I don't know they'll catch them off with that kind of pacing again. I mean, this was a unique round from Team Liquid trying to crunch up again towards that top side. They're destroyed by it. Because Mech up the pace, I wonder if that'll happen moving into this one. They might be inspired by their newfound aggression. And certainly looks like it on Defo's part as he's again going up for this aggressive A main take. Door's going to be opened. They've got the cam clearing out their A home. They know that site's the main danger, but I mean, there's no one, and then there's dealing with Navera.
Oh, they're going to go through. Timing's so good. I think they caught Yumpy potentially using a flash, and while the operator wasn't expecting a push like that, DreamAss,
Spike planted.
I don't know where he plans to go from here. Double cages in, but he's hoping that somebody gives him an angle and maybe makes a mistake. Soulcast also wrapping around. I think this is such an obscure position for Defo to be holding. He might not necessarily be expecting him to be here. He still hits the dink first. Both players at least tagged at least a little bit. He can try and pull him into the corner. You're also going to have an aftershock, forcing Chronicle back, isolating these jewels. The utility from Liquid is superb. They've made this one very awkward, but do they still expect this position to be here? They do, and now it's left all onto Nats. He's trying to line up the spray down. He's actually got it wrong. He's got it completely wrong. They're just going to defuse right in front of him, and Scream pushes through. Liquid pulling off an insane retake. The utility there was fantastic.
3.59 seconds, Tom. If he cancels that when he's initially spraying, I think they've done enough to win the round. That's ridiculous. The ping was on the spike, but there's an area. It's right out to the
four
left.
Pings was on the spike.
What? with it not being planted back as well, because obviously it was in the open, it gives you much more of an angle to the left than typically when it's in the corner, but still, that one has got to hurt. 8-3, so desperately in need of another round. Mech, they're stalling out here. They're finding it hard to connect. Early round, looking very good for Team Liquid, and there's Nats dropped by the aggression.
Where's he going? Where is this man going? It's such a confident swing from Yumpy. Oh, in fact, they're even gonna throw in a Rolling Thunder here. Just give up all of that ground. Nice shot from Chronicle, left blind, but there isn't a trade. If anything, somewhat unnecessary aggression from Liquid, but hey, they're feeling confident at the moment, and they still have a man advantage.
Yeah, I think they've thrown a lot of risks in there, and they've worked so far. So, you know, given the success rate, I don't flame the aggression. Certainly not ideal, though. Making their way back across, reset into a later fight. This round, so valuable for them. Up against this double op setup, slowing it down and resetting it could be a problem. They could end up running into the op again. Luckily, they're not. They're moving right towards B main. There's currently a smoke
left.
down. They can get nice and close. They don't have a flash. They don't have anything to get them out of here easily. And now they've been spotted. Now they're being slowed down by this breach utility. The stun is in play. Defo stuck forward. Orbital strike. A little early, but they've still got the cross held. And there's the spike on the floor. Absolutely no chance. Mech have been shut out of this half.
Yeah, no, I'm really impressed with what we've seen from Liquid. And as I said, I think it's their on-the-fly adaptation that's probably impressed me the most. Like, the way that Soulcast has been using his utility, even in the sort of late rounds, to just fight awkward battles. But it's the calls on the fly. Like, I'm still thinking back to that Aftershock round. I hope that's one that's going to get pulled on the desk. It's just, it's not something that was set up. It's not something that was planned. It was just good communication that I need this spot cleared so that I can take this fight. And then they get rid of such aggressive spawn control that was there for Mech, because in that afterplant, there is absolutely no way the Liquid should have been getting back in, and they still managed to do it. And well, double operator, always going to be a solid showing for this team. It's something that they pretty much wrote the book on. But Soulcast on this Astra, well, I saw some stuff earlier. I think it was in the Angel interview saying like, oh yeah, there's a lot of better choices. For Soulcast right now, I'd be inclined to disagree.
Yeah. No, I have to say, I think he's proven himself to be one of the more adaptable players out there. You know, the amount of hurdles we have seen this guy run into brick walls, sure, but he has broken through again and again and again. Someone like that, I want on my team, because I know no matter what, no matter where this game ends up meta-wise, 6 months from now, Solkas will be adapting. He's already shown he has that footwork, that leg work to get there. There's a lot of pressure on Team Liquid, or sorry, on Mech to get this.
Yeah, I don't think there's much pressure on Liquid.
Liquid feel pretty breezy about this one. Navera, he's not quite landing these shots though. Now he's landing those shots there.
Sorry,
calibration shots. Pardon me.
Well, Chronicle and Reg are in real trouble. If they weren't already, well, the rest of their teammates have died in a row, and now the rotation's going to come back to B, which is currently completely open. Retake, okay, there's a little bit of utility to play with, some smokes that they could potentially use to try and gain some ground, but you can see how patient Liquid are being. Nobody getting aggressive, nobody overfacing. Just going to try and wait for them to push through.
Oh, those shots. Not quite on for Scream, but the damage is done. Chronicle 2 HP. That's stun pinpoint, and Navera just as accurate. Pulling out those classic shots. 10-3. Double digits hit for Team Liquid, and another nail in Mech's coffin. It would seem, at least. Come back from this point, it's a big ask.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of Liquid supporters today. Like, if you're a fan of Na'Vi or you're a fan of Big, you're needing this victory to come through. And I think especially for Na'Vi, the cleaner this win for Liquid, the better it is. Because I think they're working with tiebreakers and like map difference and stuff like that. So it really could be a huge difference if they manage to win this one nice and clean. And for Big, obviously, then you're just relying on the Na'Vi game tomorrow and winning your own. It really does become very interesting from this point onwards. Slaughter. Every single member trying to pincer in. This corner being checked. Chronicle will get one, but the boom bot is there for the trade onto his teammate. They know exactly where this last man is, or at least did. And even getting the heals back in as well.
Well, Chronicle's got full HP, so he's got a good shot in these fights.
Does he have 4 good shots?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
To be honest, with that gun, it's not even 4. It's probably about 8.
You don't believe in the frenzy? All right, prove him wrong. There you go.
That was already more than 4.
Oh,
that is a lot more than 4.
He would have won that.
There we go.
If he used the frenzy from the start. That's all I'm saying. Unlucky.
I'm gonna doubt that one.
11-3. Strong position for Liquid. This is where Mech are going to try to make that final stand, right? They're going to try to power up those rifles. But Tom, do we have faith in this round?
No.
That's the one I'll ask. This round right here. You think
this
Team
round
Liquid
in
take it?
particular?
This round.
Do I have faith?
Do you think Mech have powered up their economy enough?
I think Mech should win this round. Do I have faith? No. No, at this point, no. I don't have faith in any of their rounds, which is depressing to say, but it's the truth. I think Liquid have been by far the better team in this match. I was expecting a close one. I have done throughout this entire, like 5 weeks, but unfortunately, Mech have only really been there in blips, it seems.
I can definitely empathize with that. I think the disappointments have been there. They've outweighed the victories. Let's see. Oh, okay, Chronicle. That's a good start. Nice little cleanup on the site. The smoke's down. The others don't want to push through. Cam catches the other player who was on the other side. Navarro was going to sneak on through, but well, it's not going to happen this time around.
I'm starting to wonder if Chronicle has some sort of like script that the second he earns his orbital strike, it instantly gets placed about 1 meter in front of where he's standing. Because it's just so often where I'm like, this round's looking sewn up. And you just hear the orbital strike and you're like, oh no!
Concealment.
Wow. Oh, wow. Chronicle's really showing up in this one. He is cleaning house. Good old Sulcus, left on his own. He's adapted to so many situations in the past, but the Spectre 1B5 he hasn't learned just yet. I'll forgive him.
He's got to adapt to a bullet in the head. That one's a little bit more difficult.
It is tough. It is tough. 11-4. Oh, Team
Nature
Liquid
always finds a way.
Look, they got a 7-round lead. I think that's a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of room to work with.
Just a little bit.
Small amount. And Chronicle, look, he farmed up some kills, but he's still decently far away from finding that orbital strike.
Yeah, 'cause they used it.
Yep.
They used it in this round. They'd got 3 kills. So I guess maybe that was the plan. Just try and farm it back up again. I guess it was because he was low and he just wanted to stop them pressuring him. In all seriousness, but
yeah,
it does. I don't feel like I've seen enough impactful orbital strikes out from him ever while playing a Brimstone.
Let me preface this with I love Chronicle, and I think Chronicle's a fantastic player. However, and his smokes are great, but I think orbital strikes, he might have the worst orbital strikes in VCT. I think if someone asked me on the spot, who is it? I would say Chronicle. Defo's in the corner. He hasn't been spotted. They've cleared it out in inverted commas, but they have no idea that there's a player tucked. Luckily, though, Team Liquid aren't going to go towards that. They're not going to fall into the trap. Instead, they're setting their focus on B, leaving a lurk behind.
I'm almost trying to sell it as a bit of a fake. The thing is, though, the rotation really hasn't needed to come through because Shadows already walled deep in towards Arcade, and while Chronicle has the information, they're going to try and make their push elsewhere. The slow put down instantly as they look to try and make their way into the site. And now things become quite difficult for Liquid because they've given up a lot of the ground behind them. You can see the push coming through on that flank. And they're still needing to take any level of space.
Got nothing to cover their back on that south side where most of the team's coming through, but they ain't going to worry about their back. It's their front that's causing a bit of an issue here. Still tucked in the corner there. Shados is holding on to site control and pretty much closing this round out. The spike's down on ramp. Navarro's got no chance of picking it back up. And so the round goes to Mech. Another defensive round clocked up. They're on the road to recovery, but it's, as we said, quite a long one.
But yeah, for Navarro, saving here actually makes a lot of sense because he has his tour de force, so he can actually just drop a rifle over to someone else especially with their economy. He could play the tour de force, and then you're really looking at like a lot more of an opportunity to do some damage in this round, whereas otherwise I think you'd just be left in the mud for what is likely to be a very weak purchase. The one thing I will say as well, which it sort of had me worried just because of the scoreline, like in a lot of other maps, if there was a chance for Mech to streak it back, I really would believe in it. But on Fracture, it's so hard to either just play like a full retake on a site or just like cover everything. So these faster paced rounds, it's going to be tough to play with. It's interesting that Navir is actually keeping the rifle. I guess he just plans to pop the tour de force in their next buy instead.
The reality is, you know, Mech have the best defensive side in, I think, the world, but VCT, EMEA at least. When it comes to this one, Fracture, defending is just so different that I
think if you exclude the last few weeks, because even then they've had shaky defenses as well.
Mech have been shaky though in general.
Yes.
I think everything that we take for granted about Mech has been shaky. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got the pistols,
Spike
little
down,
gap,
B.
and that sneaks through. Unlucky, and that's the spike down. So this round, with their weaker weapons, not likely to yield all too much. Actually, now in a lot of danger. If Era's also got a tour de force, if he can get a weapon in the hands of Soul, because things could look very spooky.
He's had it. Like, he's had his tour de force.
He's coming under, yeah, but he's coming underpass with that tour de force, and that's the difference. This is the perfect angle for him to fight. And look at Mech. Immediately, they had two players standing on the spike. They hear that, they're like, let's not be here. Let's be anywhere but here down this shooting gallery.
It's just 20 seconds.
Gotta go.
They don't have spike. They've got to literally almost W key towards it at this stage. Nice shot from Chronicle. Trade back once again. They're gonna grab it for just a second though, and then that's it. It's done. He needs both kills. That's the only way he can win this round at this point. He might as well go for it, but no. They're just going to opt to hold onto the rifle once again. I guess because he popped that tour de force, he needs to make sure that he actually has a rifle for the next round.
11-6. These rounds are creeping on up. The gap closing in slowly but surely. The Mech economy strong. They can even afford to lose one and still keep on fighting. So OT looking very possible at this point, at a minimum. I don't want to go too far and say the victory now. That's a lot of rounds in a row. But they can have a little stumble. They have a little bit of wiggle room now. They've bought themselves back in enough. But here comes the timeout from Team Liquid where the curveball could be thrown in.
Yeah, they should still have a relatively decent purchase going into this one. As said, I feel like finding those sort of cheese rounds on Fracture, especially on that attack, can be a lot easier than other maps. Like I think a fast-paced push can very easily like cause havoc. I think there's so many opportunities for late lurks. Like look at the success that we've seen from Soulcast in some of their earlier series within this map. I think it was BBL was the main one where you sort of really sing his praises. Chronicle though starting to come online a little bit, and again, like we've sort of hyped him up all the way through the season. He is someone that has been considered at least like a top 3 player within the world at a time, probably top 1. Like he was fantastic. Nats as well has definitely been. He's an MVP of a Masters event. They're called Masters 3 champions because he was the Masters 3 champions MVP. So ultimately, there is still stuff this roster can do, but we have not seen all of them or even most of them online all at once.
Yep. Some of the pieces have always been missing, it feels like, every day that we see them. It's a strange face to see on Mech, but Team Liquid, they have looked, as we've said, better than ever. Stumble in these last couple of rounds. Now look to see what they can get done. Now with the rifles, now with the ultis, the Rolling Thunder, the Showstopper. Power in play for Team Liquid is huge. Mech have to navigate this one very carefully. I mean, look, there's no one on A site because of that Rolling Thunder. You just don't want to get your day ruined by it. The same on B. They're literally, let's hold spawn, let them execute, play retake. That's the way. And with the Orbital Strike, this could be the first time we see Chronicles Orbital Strike be impactful. It damn well better be, Tom, because that's what this whole round is based around.
He's going to put it on, like, Generator or something. Like, why would he put it there?
We've got attacker spawn. Yeah,
there we go.
They are literally in spawn playing full retake.
But yeah, it has to be just for plant denial. The problem is they're not going to hear it. Like that's the great thing
And if they try to punish him now, he just TPs. They're not going to. They're waiting for the push. I like it. Oh, yes.
They've saved this Rolling Thunder for the after plant. Scream is already going to drop one. He's going to have to push forward and will be isolated, but still, this ult is held. It hasn't been utilized just yet. They are waiting for the moment where they go to make their move, and that's where they'll get stunned up. 3 players caught by this and just delaying them that little bit of extra time. Navira already going to turn this back into a 3v3.
They're rushing into the site. The molly for heaven could lock them out completely. They've lost Nats. That off angle. He's losing HP, but the Crabwell's there. Chronicles pulled into the open. It doesn't matter whether he gets these kills or not, because the time has won the round for Team Liquid, connected 12-6, and put them on map and series points against the Masters 3 champions. The new face of Team Liquid has a chance to take it without dropping a map.
Yes, this should do.
It's unfortunate because, again, that's a round where I really don't think Mech did anything wrong other than maybe just misread the ultimates that were available. I think Dreamas with his timing there was so perfect because he held that for a long time. There were many occasions where he could have opted to play that forward. Instead, they almost sacrificed Scream just to delay enough, and then the time is the winner there. That's all they were really hoping for. And they burnt out ults on the other side as well. So now there's not really anything to play with here. Okay, Defo's not far from a showstopper, but to get one of these orbs, you have to take a gamble.
Well, this one's not going to be taken by Mech, that's for sure. Ish fully seized by Team Liquid as they look to move into the A site. The rest of the team pulling back from that south side, sweeping over towards A main. But a wall's just gone up. Interesting problem. Do you break it now? Try to fake you go back? Or do you actually go back? As could be the case here for Team Liquid. They've started to shift in the other direction. And it looks like breaking the wall is going to be a fake for A.
This is something we've seen from Yumpy in the past. A lot of the time he'll be left behind just to try and sell some of these fakes. Instead, though, the rest of the team could still look to push forward.
What?
That's so risky.
He legged
from
him.
Shados. He did leg him, but even still, I think that must be a complete misread on the scenario to go for that sort of play.
30 seconds left.
Well, they've come back now. Sharks in the water smelling blood after taking that first kill. Nats. Oh, he's got another. Yumpy was low, so it was easy. Navera, not so much. But Nats still gets out of there with the triple. 12-7. 5 rounds left to go. It's one hell of a streak for Fracture, but it's possible.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a believer. I think even at 11, I'm still going to have that hesitation just because it's Liquid. I think they have so many stars that can get this one over the line. And honestly, like, there's still been some sort of upsetting plays out from Mech, even in that round, just risks that didn't seem necessary. And up until that point, the round looked good for them. Even still, though, they have those stars. They have the likes of Nat still performing. And in this one, it is going to be mostly pistols. But that means that Liquid can get up to something a little bit more audacious.
Oh, here we go. Flash through the crunch from Mech. They're looking to take control, and they'll get it. The orb is theirs for the taking. Yumpy wants to try to sneak his way up, not checking his right. Nats will catch him. Good catch for Mech. And that gives away 2 players close in main, and they're going to just push off the back of it. I'm interested, like, even versus this kind of a buy, Mech seems so willing to get into these aggressive spots. It's a big risk.
Luckily for them, it's going to pay off this time. Rez now confirmed for the next round as well. Slow probably won't pay too much of a part here. And actually, Chronicle's under a little bit of pressure. Again, just playing it safe, not taking too many risks here. Nice shot from Navira, but he's very far away from the action. Needs to try and get back into spot if they're going to have a chance. Ah! That's not the right button! What just happened, Chronicle? Unforced errors once again. Dreamas has now got a gun. Now, this was something that they might not have had to face off against. Nats, though, with decent timing. He's going to have the Rolling Thunder again. He can make sure they're not defusing. This gives a little bit extra. Dreamas now into the 1v1. It's Shados on that operator, and he swings out and closes it. A huge mistake for Mech, and a finish for the new player of Team Liquid.
I gotta say that I've never seen someone slapped in the face with a stim beacon right before a fight.
I can't believe that.
That was something else. Just come swinging around the corner. Wow, it was like a frisbee. Oh, that should do damage. That's another thing. We've never thought of it before. There should be little blades on it, and when you throw it, it can do like 100 damage. Something else coming out of them there. And I gotta say, Tom, overall, Team Liquid, this new face of Team Liquid. We had some questions around DreamHack last week. We're like, it wasn't fantastic, but already I loved watching them play today under some severe conditions. I do wonder, though, going into playoffs, if they'll be able to hold steady with that same sort of face. Well, speaking of the faces, Tom, I want to talk to the people at home about the players on the team, the players of the match.
Yeah, we've got Yumpy, Navira, and Scream. I think some very usual faces to the player of the match. And I genuinely think that you could have put anyone in today. Like, I think Dreamer's maybe a bit quieter on the first map, but second map was great. Soulcast as well. Like, his second map was superb. Yumpy completely popped off on map 1, though. So I feel like it's always going to be difficult not to choose him in these sort of scenarios because ultimately, sometimes the stats don't lie.
Well, ain't that the truth? Speaking of which, let's get back on over to the analyst desk so they can break down all of the stats that happened and became into existence here today, as stats do, Tom. Let's toss it over to the analyst desk after this commercial break.
To VCT EMEA Challenges Week 5. That right there was your last map of the night. Can you believe it is flown by? Team Liquid leave Mech's playoff hopes hanging in the balance. My name's Ian Chambers, joined on the desk by Lothar and Kakuka. And I'm not going to lie, no word of a lie. Kakuka was running around the green room, laying on the floor, shouting things in Spanish. All sorts of stuff was going on. It was intense, right, to watch?
I mean, to be fair, I always scream things in Spanish, especially when games get this close and we see so many mistakes and so many weird things. I'm just going to say this is me officially asking Riot for the Steam Beacon to deal impact damage, so or at least like a name punch or something. Like but some rounds were just, I don't know.
If you hit someone with a Steam Beacon, he jumps up like it's a breach ultimate, you know? But yeah, Kakuka just screams in Spanish and runs around the room, and I just stand there with like my hands on my head, you know? It's like, what am I witnessing? Because this was crazy. Like, I literally said, this is probably the round, as a joke, this is probably the round that Team Liquid wins because they have 5 pistols and nothing else. And then Yumpy just dies and it's 4v5 and Kakuka goes, well, you jinxed this right now. And then they win anyway. I don't know. It just blows my mind that Mech is capable of throwing huge advantages. This is not the first time today even that we have seen stuff like this is happening. Like, the discipline of the team is just gone. Team Liquid on the other side, I feel like they're just playing kind of like a, let's say, Team Liquid of the past, but a little bit better with a little bit.
Which one of the iterations of the Team Liquid from
there was
the past?
There was a lot of them. But let's say that they played better than the worst ones that they had in the past.
Okay, we'll take it. I think that Team Liquid gained the momentum super fast. They were thriving after what happened on map 1, and they managed to bring it back to this fracture. All the executes that Gambit had under their sleep were completely broken. The timings were not there, and on the side of Mech, for them to get around, we had to see plays like this one, like Nats getting a 3K and breaking. Oh, no, do not play it again, please.
Duno isn't Navi. Never mind.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, it's just crazy.
I'm losing it, Lothar, please don't.
It's just crazy. You know how many 5v4s did
Tell me, please tell me.
Mech win? They had 4. How many did they win? 5v4s.
They had 4 5v4s, they won 1.
Yes.
What does that tell you, though? Because, like, it's rare.
Bad news. That's why.
As a team, right, you get opportunities to clutch a position in the playoffs and to completely, I guess, flop. It's tough, right?
It's crazy. I mean, we could rewind all those rounds. It's just always like something similar was happening on other maps. It's like whenever they have an advantage, suddenly one player loses the discipline and just pushes in and dies because someone is holding a corner. And that's it.
I mean, it kind of looked like Mech definitely had something prepared for the defense, but I think we caught up with that excuse a long time ago. This could not keep happening.
Well, Mech's playoff dreams aren't quite over yet. We'll discuss that a little bit later on. But for now, let's talk to Navira of Team Liquid, who's about to join us on the show right now. Navira, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm good, and you?
Yeah, very good. You guys must be delighted with your group stages overall now. 4 wins, only 1 loss at the hands of Guild. It feels like you're getting better and better as the weeks roll on. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to work on our discipline and our team play because we know individually. I always say that, and all my mates said it. Individually, we have like really, really strong players. So yeah, we just need some discipline, some team play, and yeah, we're trying to work on it. It's pretty much doing good for the team now.
Absolutely. I mean, I was reading an interview with Yampi a few weeks ago, and he said that Mech were the toughest opponent in that group, and he wanted to get revenge, for a couple of recent results. Was that playing on your mind during the series? Did you want revenge?
To be honest, we didn't have a lot of pressure because we were already qualified. And I think that's really important. And also, funny story, I never won against Gambit and M3C. So it's the first time I'm winning, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, but overall, we didn't have a lot of pressure. We just played our game. And yeah, as I said, we played discipline. We're still not like a really good disciplined team, but we're trying to work on it a lot. And I think for the future, it's promising.
You use the word pressure there. One player that might be feeling a little bit of pressure at the moment is Dreamas. How do you feel like he's fitting in, and what's he like behind the scenes with the team?
I think Dreamas is to be honest, it's an amazing player because we asked him to join like one day randomly, and he was not ready for that. He has to play a new role. He has to play in a new team, and everything is new for him. And I think personally, he's doing really, really good. And yeah, he just won like the clutch to win the last map. And overall, he's doing a pretty good job for like a new role, new team, new environment. And yeah, he's a really good guy in real life. And I think this guy is gonna be really, really strong in the future.
Seems like it. Congratulations on your win, and good luck in the playoffs. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now. What a lovely guy. Humble as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. We know Nivera. We don't have that many interviews with him, but every single time that he joins, he actually gives us what we expect. It's good to know the Dreamas is also a good guy, IRL.
I wouldn't believe that anyone else is allowed to join Liquid.
What do you mean?
I mean, every single one of them is always known as a good guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Lothar, you've been standing there for too long.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you're becoming a piece of the furniture. You need to get yourself over there.
All right, I'm going over.
Okay.
Actually, something that Nivera spoke about, the discipline that they're working on, something that they want to have in the future, was actually showcased in a beautiful round that we have seen on round 5 when Liquid was actually on a lower buy. So let's just jump straight up into it. This is a 3v3 in post plant, and Mech is standing on the side. Scream is just going in with the showstopper. I kind of questioned why do you want to do the showstopper in such a situation when you don't really have a big advantage and the superiority of hardware is on the other side, but this is just opens up this entire round. That showstopper is just so important for the team that because of that, the confidence goes in for Soulcast coming in from A side. But now this is the important part. Once Soulcast uses this ultimate to cut off the side, this is a big problem for Redgar, because now Redgar has an issue because he will not hear if someone is starting to defuse the spike. And if he doesn't hear that, he cannot really push, or he has to push through a wall, so that's a problem for him, right? And now the discipline kicks in because until this wall spawns here, the player behind it can still die. So for Soulcast, it's imperative to not die before he taps the spike, but also the second player on top of drop, he is not allowed to die as well because he needs to give the info when someone is close to the wall, and that's the moment where Soulcast just pushes out and they have a crossfire essentially set up against the breach player. And this was why the discipline was so important. And by the way, if you wonder what is so important as well, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit here. Look at Nats. Never crouch against a sheriff in a 1v1. You get one tap. That's the recipe for disaster. And also I wanted to showcase something in one of the later rounds is where Nats is in a 1v2 potential situation, 1v3 actually, and he's trying to spam the spike through the smoke, but he's failing to do that because of the plant. Look at the position of the plant. Right here, a player can be standing in all of those positions around the spike and still have the range to defuse the spike. All of those dots is essentially a player. But if the spike is planted in the corner here, then player can only sit here, here, and here. So it's easier to spam in that position through the smoke, and it's almost a guaranteed kill. And last clip, because it's post, show, so I can have a little bit more time. It will not kill me. This is a more of like an interesting fact. Nivera chooses to push through a Brimstone molly here, just on shift. This is like a Hail Mary play, but it's worth high risk, high reward because he's only having a classic, right? So there's not much to lose, and no one expects you to push through the Brimstone Molly because this Brimstone Molly overall deals 57.5 damage per 1 second. So you're dying in 2.5 seconds essentially. That's your timer when you're trying to sneak in through that Brimstone smoke. So a high risk, high reward play from Nivera this time didn't pay off, but if this would pay off, that would be one of those plays that you're talking about. It's like, wow, this guy's crazy, Because then he would start running and it would just survive with like 10 HP or something.
Would it be also one of those rounds that Team Liquid win that we're like, no, they're not winning this, right?
No way. And then they win.
No way.
The producer did just tell me that you're not allowed back after going overtime. In Lurther's lab, by the way. Just briefly, Kakuka, what do you think it says about Mech here? Were they maybe lacking courage, or were they just beaten by the better team?
To me, it's a little bit of both. I think the Team Liquid, now that they picked up the chamber, they look even more scary. I think it's very, it is the right move for them. For Mech, I think that after the first half of the first map, they saw themselves as losers, and that is a point of no return.
Do you want to go to the post show, by the way?
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to go to the post show. I don't know if we've got time now because of you, but let me
I'm sorry, my fault.
We can go to the post show. Let's go to the post show.
It's gonna be the fastest thing in the universe, right?
Here we go. It's coming.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Just like that. Simple as that. This is...
Welcome, Ian, to your first.
I did promise that I was going to do a backflip here, so here we go. No, I'm kidding. I can't do backflips. I'll damage myself. Yampy is our guest here on the post show. Let's bring him in. I'm really excited to speak to him because he had an incredible series there. Yampy, welcome to our post show. You must be feeling delighted with that performance.
Yeah, do I have to do a backflip?
Yeah, can you?
Nah, sorry. Yeah, it was a nice match.
I know that you can play piano. You can play something for us, maybe?
He has a guitar
Piano is not in this room, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the old Guitar Hero.
That's Guitar Hero. I was going to tell you.
We're just going to ask Yampy to do like tricks in front of the camera. Is that...
Can you sing?
Sing? No, I don't wanna, I want you still guys to hear after this day, so I'll save you guys from the post.
Well, seeing as we've got you here, Yampy, it would be rude not to take a look at who the player of the match was. Guys, who do you think it might have been?
Probably him, yeah.
You think it was Yampy?
Yeah.
I mean, the 8 First Bloods was actually quite a lot on the first map,
Yeah, let's take a look at who you guys are voted for. Of course, Yampy, you were player of the match. Did it feel that way to you? In particular, that first map was stellar from you. You were incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, the first map I got some nice shots, definitely. I don't know what's been going on lately, but yeah, it's fun to always get hit some headshots, and yeah, it's fun.
It's easy when one of your skills just kind of like incentivize you to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. The chamber is always has been fun to play with me, so it was nice to be back on the stages after like a few months.
So what was the decision-making process behind moving back to the chamber? Was there anything in particular that made you guys feel like you had to be back to playing it?
Not really. I used to play the Omen before, and I think we got like usage of the Omen from myself, but I think I said to them that like people can read us much better when I play the Omen, and of course because we didn't have Sentinel in practice, we had like a lot of trouble holding Tube, and maybe our like plans was too much focusing on the Tube because we didn't have Trap, so I think the chamber just helped with the extra trip, and yeah, it's also like a good AWP agent, so it suits us really well.
Overall, you've had a really good run in the group stage. 4 wins, 1 loss. Now that you've got a bit of time, a really small amount of time to reflect on the group stages, how do you think they went?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, if I'm honest, I'm not that happy how, like, against example for BBL, we should have lost like so badly, and I think was it also against Navi, we got
Navi,
pretty
yeah.
lucky. So I wouldn't say I'm like proud of how we played. Like the skill level and the fast few matches being like going up, but also we had the player change, so that also affects us a little bit. But yeah, I'm happy we got the 4 wins, but I'm not like happy how we played overall.
So the thing is, now that you are secure for playoffs, actually you're going up first against FPX, if I'm not in the wrong. What do you think needs to change within Team Liquid, all of the mistakes that you have mentioned, and to come in strong for playoffs?
Just play more and get comfortable with Auris playing with us, and yeah, just change all the comps so they cannot read us. You know.
Change all the comps. Oh my god, that comes from a team that changes all the comps all the time. So that's kind of hilarious. But I wanted to ask about changing comps actually. So on Icebox, you decided today to play Chamber, but on Fracture, it was Nivera who plays the Chamber. You play on the Sky. Was there at any point of discussion about when you guys were planning for Fracture that you would be playing on Chamber? And if not, why did you guys decide to give Nivera this champion on this particular map?
I think it's more just about my agent pool, because I have like I play a lot, so I can just learn any agent. And I think in that map also Nivera used to play Cypher, so we just kind of did like one-on-one, changed the Cypher for Chamber, and I just kept playing on Sky. So it was just like nothing. We never thought of me playing on Chamber, because yeah, I can play Sky, and Nivera is super good with AWP, as you guys saw. So it's just like one-on-one, changing the Cypher to Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Yampy, a bit of a different question here. Like, when you finish, look at his eyebrows, he's a little bit concerned here. You know, when you come off the back of a win like that, like, how do you unwind now? What do you do now? After you come off this interview, what will the rest of your evening look like?
Go party the whole night and celebrate this victory.
Oh, yeah?
So,
No,
I would say that it's so not Finnish, you know?
Just chill at home and eat some nice food, and tomorrow I have a little trip going, so just prepare stuff. And
where are you going? Do you mind me asking?
Just have fun. Going to Sweden for a nice ship trip from Finland. It's really nice. So.
Beautiful.
Just chilling.
Lothar, you said prior going into this final series here today that you're never quite sure which Liquid will show up. Mm-hmm. Which Liquid showed up here tonight?
Well, this Liquid was looking more stellar and more disciplined. Not in all of the rounds, but in some of the rounds more disciplined than the previous iterations, which is nice to see. But I wanted to ask something actually to Yampy, a little bit off topic. But are you guys, like, when you go into this match, were you guys aware that if you guys win, there's a chance, you guys are aware that Mac might not actually go to playoffs because of this win that you guys did, right?
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it that I think big clans, if they win against.
And what would you anticipate? Like, which one team will go through? What do you think?
I don't really mind. You know, it's for me, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah. You hold that thought, because I am going to get your thoughts on our schedule going ahead into tomorrow. So let's take a look as we start to wrap things up here today. What we're looking at. Tomorrow, we have got Na'Vi versus top of Group B, Guild. And then it only gets even more, exciting from there. We've got things on the line here. It's all up for grabs still, Kakuka.
Yeah, exactly. I actually wanted to ask you, Yampy, if you could choose between FaZe, Guild, and Fnatic, who would you choose?
Fnatic, of course.
That's what you want today, huh?
Yes, of course, Fnatic. You know, we have beaten them like the past 2 times, I think, but we haven't played them in a while. I think the last time was in some kind of online tournament, like Monster Energy tournament or something.
There's no turning back now.
Yeah. So of course we're gonna face Fnatic, and Tempe looking super good lately. So of course it would be nice to play against them. And yeah, I love to play against Derga.
Can I just try something before we wrap up, Yampy? Can you just put your left fist out for me at the camera?
Yeah, and
there we go.
Also,
like special
shout out to Slug Club for a huge support today. It was really amazing to see.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. All right, I just want to give a quick call out as well. NA, if you want to see more Valorant, you can. Here are the details right now. Stay tuned. Plenty more action coming your way. And speaking of more action, we'll be right back here on this very channel. Me, Lothar, Kakuka for day 2 of week 5.
Yampy too. Yampy, you're coming tomorrow.
Yampy, you staying?
Oh no, he's going to Sweden. Never mind. Have fun, Yampy.
Have fun in
Yampy,
Sweden.
you have a nice trip.
Thank you.
Massive thanks to everybody for watching. Plenty more to come. See you soon.